Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel ML for Analytics. I am Jyoti and today we will be covering another time intelligence function in DAX, which is last non-blank function. So in the last tutorial, we had covered the last date function of DAX. We had covered its theory, its implementation, why we should use it, etc. etc. Now let's move to the next function in our series, which is last known blank. And let's jump to the theory part first. So last known blank is an iterator. So it scans the table row by row. So what it does is the table that you specify or the column that you specify, the pointer moves firstly to the first row, then it calculates the second expression or the expression in the second argument for that particular row, then it moves to the second row, then third row, then fourth row. So it is basically an iterator. Now, what it does is it returns the last value of the table or column for which the second argument, and that second argument can be a measure or a DAX expression. So basically that second argument, it doesn't evaluate to blank. But suppose there is a scenario when your table is not having any value in the last date of the current filter context. So basically, let's focus that, okay, we are talking about September 2022. Though it hasn't come yet, but still, let's talk about it. So the last date of September 2022 is 30th September 2022. Now suppose there is no data, no transaction on that particular day, that is 30th September 2022. So in that case, last date is going to return blank. It is not going to give you any value. Why? Because 30th September 2022 is not having any value. So, but eventually there is data for 29th September 2022, right? Then in that particular case, what happens is that you want the data of, of any date. So any last date to be returned. If it's 2019 September 2022, then also you want the data to be returned. Then in that particular scenario, last non-blank function comes to our rescue. So if the table is having values in all the dates prior to the last date and only the value corresponding to the last date equals blank, then it's better to use last non-blank function. The syntax for last non-blank is, first you are going to write the function name and then parenthesis, and the first argument is going to be the column name. The second argument is going to be the expression, any DAX expression, any measure, any DAX expression. Now, in order to understand about this more, let's jump to the implementation part. In order to implement this scenario, what I have done is I have used the same model that I was using in the previous video, which I made for last date function. I have used these two tables only, that is dim date and fact sales table, sorry. And in this particular case, what I have done is, if I go to transform data over here, and if I go to fact sales table over here, then I have applied an additional step, that is filtering the rows. So in this particular case, I have taken the data for all the rows which have date before 31st December 2009. So obviously in this particular case, I have eliminated or I have removed all the data or all the transactions which had happened on 31st December 2009. So as you can suspect over here, that the last data for December 2009 is not available, And that is how we are going to implement this particular scenario. Now, as suspected, if we look at the table over here, then this particular row for 2009, the last date sales amount for 2009 is actually blank over here. Why? Because the last date of 2009 is 31st December 2009, and that is obviously blank. The data for that is not there in our table, in our fact sales table. So obviously it is going to return blank for us. Now, if I expand this, then obviously there is data for Q1, Q2, Q3. Why? Because the last date of all these quarters are having some value and they are displayed over here. But for Q4, for quarter 4, it is blank. Why? Because the last date for quarter 4 is 31st December 2009. Now if I further expand this, then data for October and November, that is available for us, but only the data for December is not available in front of us. So that is why it is returned as blank over here. Now if I further expand this December data, then as you can see, we have drilled down to the day level and there is data available for all the dates except for 31st. Except for 31st, there is no data available. Now we have to like minimize this. Now we can see how we can implement or how we can get the data for one day prior to 31st December, that is for 30th December. Now, in order to do that, I have used DAX measures over here. So I have made a new measure, which is last known blank sales amount. And in this particular case, this is the expression that I have written. I have used calculate, and inside calculate, the first expression is, or you can say the first argument is sales amount measure, which I had made in the previous video, which is actually this. So I have used SUMX iterator and I am iterating on fact sales table and I am summing over sales amount column. So I have used that sales amount measure over here. The second argument of calculate is last known blank function, and inside last known blank function the first argument is date key column, and the check or the expression that I have applied over here is that count rows related table fact sales. So it is going to give me the date key for which there are some rows or even one row corresponding to like fact sales table, right? So now in our case, obviously that particular date is going to be equal to 30th December 2009. So in that particular case, which value is returned by last known blank function? It is 30th December 2009. If I talk about 2009's filter context. So that this is how I am getting some value over here, that is last known blank sales amount. I am getting this value 105,048.1694. So obviously it is going to go to fact sales, see I mean it is going to go to each and every row of fact sales and it is going to just see the last date corresponding to which there are non-blank rows in the fact sales table. So guys, with this I conclude this tutorial. I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please hit on the like button. If there are some feedbacks associated with this video, then please provide them in the comment section below. Please share this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.